All right. I believe we are good now. So here we are at our NC, our netcat listener. We've got a shell, just like we did before. Let's do the Python trick to get an interactive shell. Huzzah. Okay, so if we do, let's see, if we cd to Etsy and we look for recursive, look for everything in a cron directory. I can't get in. Okay, so there's this clearlog.sh. Oops. I need to learn how to type. There we go. Okay, so there's this cat clearlog that is just a bash script that echoes blank into the log file, and that's this log file. That's how this is getting cleared every 5 minutes. So the assumption is the typical way that something like that happens in a Linux server or Linux computer. Typically the way that happens in a Linux server is something called cron, which it just runs something every so often, however long you set it for. And unfortunately, we don't have the permissions to look at that. We don't have the ability to look at the cron itself, but it's definitely not running as us, right? It's running as someone who can write to this file. Let's see what the permissions of this file is. Maybe they can write to it. But it's going to be somebody who can run this script, and only he can run this script. No, anybody can run the script. What is happening here? Well, it's not us. So let's see. Let's see here. How did I do this? Let's see. If I, oh yeah, that's right. So what you have to understand when you watch stuff like this, especially as I do it after the fact, the reason I don't stream these as I do them is because they generally take anywhere from 8 to 16 to 24 hours. I've worked a week straight on Boocheroos before, and nobody wants to watch me beat my head against a wall for 12 hours. Like, it's just not entertaining or useful to anyone. What you want to do, no, you really don't, trust me. I mean, it's entertaining to watch me do it for about 10 minutes, maybe 15 minutes tops, and after that, everybody just goes away. We will, so there's some enumeration that you generally want to do, and we will we'll do an abbreviated version of this, right? Let's do this. I'm trying to think of how to explain this, how I came upon it. One of the first things you can try is logging into a decent account, to an interactive account. And one of the ways to do that is through password guessing. It's not a great thing to do, and it's certainly not something you should do a ton of. And what I mean by that is you should not point a 8 million line or even several thousand line word list at this thing and try all of them, right? You should try a few, 2 or 3, tops, targeted, maybe 10, I guess, if you do it slowly enough that you're not going to lock somebody out. But a very targeted word list to try and log into something. Common passwords like the current season plus the year is a very common password for people. Name of the company, 123, stuff like that. Another very common password for users is the username. Not generally for interactive users, like us, like security professionals, but people get lazy and name service accounts, sort of like CTF user would be. They'll use their own password or their own username as password. This is especially true in like low security environments where they don't really have password complexity policies, or they have terrible password complexity policies that just make sure that it's 8 characters or something like that, and doesn't really, look for, 8 characters is just terrible. But anyway, so the thing that I did was eventually, as I was like, okay, well, let's try some passwords, and I tried 3 or 4 passwords. This guy's password happened to be CTF user. Once you're here, you can do sudo -l. We know his password, so he can't run sudo on CTF. That sucks. But what else can we do? Well, we know that this script is being ran by someone probably not us. In fact, we can look at our cron tab to see if it's being ran by us. There's no cron tab for us. So there's no cron tab for the www data user. There's no cron tab for CTF user. There's not a lot of users left on the box to that it could be. I'm going to guess it's root or somebody with root-like credentials. So let's do some stuff. So can we let's see, sudoers? No, of course not. If we go into Etsy and we look, there should be a sudoers.d. And what sudoers.d is it's a directory that holds a bunch of different sudoer files inside of it, or can hold a bunch of sudoer stuff in it. This is for, let's cat the readme. Maybe it'll say what I'm about to say. I can't. Cool. But what it's for is it's for kind of organizing a bunch of different sudoer files and however you want to organize them, so that they're not all in the sudoers file. They're kind of spread out in some sort of organizational way. Everybody has their own way of doing it, but that's what this directory is for. So we can, if we can get a file in here, or we can change the sudoers file somehow, that would be pretty neat. So let's go back to our home directory, and we're gonna move the clearlog.sh, and this is why the log clearing wasn't working in the last one. We're going to move this to clearlog.back, just so we don't. There's no pipe or caret there. .sh to clearlog.back, just so that what is it? Just so that in case we mess up, we can restore it later or whatever. This would be considered a noisy thing, right? Because we're moving this script actually, let's move it back. We're moving the script, and what happens when cron can't do something it wants to do, it starts making logs about it. We don't necessarily want to touch logs. We don't want it seen that we did some stuff or that errors started popping up, right? So cat clearlog again. What is it doing? So we want to add something to the end of this that can maybe get us, sudo access. So let's check out how sudo works. Add passwordless sudo. So sudo is a thing that allows you, here we go. Sudo is a thing that allows you to run stuff as an admin, even though you aren't an admin, by placing sudo in front of the command you want to do. And sudo is pretty cool in that it can be very granular. You can say, I only want you to be able to run these specific commands, and you have to, enter your password to be able to run those very specific commands. Or you can get crazy and just say, I want you to be able to run everything without a password, which is nuts. But as we are breaking into the system, we don't really care. So we're going to echo. Oops. So we're going to echo. So we're going to echo, who are we? CTF user. And we're going to echo this to, we're going to append this. That's what the double direction carets are for. And we're going to append it to the end of clearlog.sh. Ah. Okay. Okay, so now, oops, that's not what we wanted to do. See, this is why I should have backed this up. Echo, if I recall, it's E. Hold on one sec, I'll explain what I'm doing here momentarily. Oh, I didn't have to do, oh, of course. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm rebuilding this file. I thought that I had to escape stuff if I used the -e, but I guess not. Okay, I'm like totally off track at the moment. All right, now we'll do that into clearlog.sh. What the hell? That's why I had to. Oh, that's why I had to escape the. Can I do it that way? Why? Why are you being a butt? Yeah, you're allowed to have the two. I mean, it's doing what it needs to do. It's this crap. Okay, here's what I'm going to do. Echo. that freaking... Oh, do I have to do single quote? Hey, there we go. Okay. So if we do echo, and then we will do the rest of this. Oops, no. Ah, wait. What am I doing? Suddenly getting performance anxiety. Huzzah! Okay, there we go. Now we have rebuilt this. Excellent. Cool. Now that we've done all that work to just get back to where we were in the beginning, let's... Good job, everybody. Now we're going to echo. We need to echo. Okay, so let's uh-oh. Seems to be having so every time we get this, let's see if we can find it. Oh my god, there's so much. So every time we see... Yeah, now we have to wait 5 minutes. Let's see if I can fill that up with actual content. So every time we see you have new mail, that's cron failing in some way, and that's what we're seeing here, right? So once we see that you've got mail, we should be good to go. And if we just do this, etsy sudoers, we should see an update to this, right? Should change the should change how big it is and when it was last accessed and whatnot. And we can do something like this. Watch and let's say every 10 seconds. I'll say etsy sudoers. Oh yeah, it won't do that for us. But this would be useful if you wanted. For now, we can look at some other stuff though. Like let's take a look at some other stuff. So what's another very common enumeration tactic that people use? Well, the most common, probably the first thing that I always do, other than like the quick when can I sudo anything. The next thing is I want a cat etsy password. And the reason that I want to do that is because I want to see what users there are on the box. This can tell you a few different things. How many active users there are, people like CTF user that actually have a home directory that can actually log in, as opposed to bin false that these people can't actually log in. It can tell you what kind of services there are. There's a web server here, which we already knew, but maybe we didn't. There's a MySQL server. Maybe that could be useful. It certainly was in the Securite CTF. But one really interesting thing is this root-owned home root entry. There's two of them for some reason. I don't know why. But that's very interesting. And the reason it's interesting is that there is no X here. This X basically states, hey, the password's not contained in Etsy password anymore. It's contained in Etsy shadow. And we can't actually look at Etsy shadow because that's where all of the encrypted passwords are, right? So this X is basically the lack of the X is basically is the vulnerability here. And it's because, again, we have these malicious actors that don't really care about the security of your system. Once they get in, that's all they care about. And they'll, create themselves little backdoors and stuff. This person is very careless in that, this is pretty obvious. If you have any sort of file integrity monitoring or any sort of auditing put in place into your company at all, you should be able to detect this pretty quickly. But as infiltrators ourselves, as people who are trying to pass the CTF, we can use this, right? So we can just su root. Oop, authentication failure. Hold on. Not running anything to log in with. Authentication failure. That's weird. It should have no password. There's a way to use this way to do a command is su, and I think it might just be put the command after it. Let's find out. Now let's see. Okay, so su c id. Oh, we have new mail. And if you notice, this has been updated. It's now accessed in June 10th, and we have increased it in size. So we should be able to sudo -l now, and we can do literally anything we want. So if we sudo su dash, now we are root id. Ta-da! I'm curious about this. Let's back out of that real quick. So we won. We know we can do it. We'll take a look at the flag in a second, but I'm curious about this root guy because I did this previously. I'm trying to figure out how. Etsy password. Can we enter home root permission denied? I wonder if it's a problem with, because we got this weird echo thing happening. Why? Something like that. TTY. minus echo. Excuse you? st2y minus. There we go. Okay. Still getting authentication failure, which is weird. Root. Oh, you know what? I wonder. Oh man. So I can do it locally. I just can't do it. Can't do it from there. I wonder where that is. Okay, well, sudo su. We are now root. Where are we? We're in our directory, so let's check out the flag.txt. Yep. Excuse you? Can't tell me I can't read stuff. I'm root. I can do whatever I want. Cool. So a couple of things that so we can do the flag gen. Oops. And that's actually I did that. I tweeted that at one point. Oop. So yeah, this is some sort of base64 plus some sort of hashing algorithm or something that they use. You can tweet it at them or send them an email or something, and they can verify that it's actually you. Yeah, so that's the CTF. I'll probably, when I move this to YouTube, I'll probably end it here. But I'm going to spend a minute looking around some other things that I ran into. So for instance, the MySQL, if we noticed, there was a MySQL user here. And one thing that I tried to do, is it kind of brought back something that we did at the Securite CTF, just to see if it's the same password. So user root p it was like Rorschach, right? Rorschach, probably. Let me Google this. Yeah, okay. That's how you spell it. I think if you're putting it in the so I'm logged in as root. Let's do help, and in the excuse me, previous thing, we did something like this, right? Oop. Usage shell command. Oh. So this doesn't look like it's before in Security it was set up insecurely, right? We were able to log in as root and run something as root. Let's find out. I bet you that that's because this is not being ran by root anymore. It is being ran by root. Interesting. So we do mysql u root. Yeah, I guess internally, I'll have to look into why that's not working. Drops privileges when it spawns. Oh. Well, when you run the ID, it comes out as just, oh wait, effective user ID root. I'm able to load public key. So yeah, so this priv-esc method is still here, which is interesting because yeah, so this is interesting because if you look at their write-up, this method is not in there. So you know, this goes to show you. This is another thing to think about when you're doing capture the flags, and there's obviously a very specific way to finish the challenge. Security people make mistakes too, yeah. The holiday hack challenge, the ultimate, the final challenge was a doozy, and it wasn't a real SQL injection. It was like a logic flaw in how the web app worked, and there were several people, not a lot, but several people that found an actual SQL injection flaw in the very first challenge that actually allowed them to exploit the last challenge as well. And that was just a straight mistake by CounterHack. Mistakes happen even to people at CounterHack. They are some of the most talented people on the planet, and even they kind of mess up sometimes. So here, this was just, I think, an oversight by the Pentest Limited guys. Obviously, they made a quality CTF, and it was a lot of fun to play. But it looks like they left a vulnerability in there from the previous one. So what I will be doing when I play their next one, which I'm really looking forward to, I'll be looking at the previous exploitation methods that we used, see if anything was kind of left in there like last time. So that's us. That's it. It showed you 3 different methods to get the flag, and I hope you guys learned something. And I'll catch you all next time.